part of other people. They really do stick together no matter what. They can't stand nobody good, but I'm gonna support you though. And but we always want to call it, tear one another down, not to really get in there and make it seem, but it's going back to let's fill one another bucket up with that love because what it is that you need.
I like that you said filling up the bucket with love because the saying with black people is we crabs in the bucket.
Crabs in the bucket.
Yeah,
I
we crabs in
swear,
the bucket,
if black people moved how Mexican people move,
bro. We would it'd be done.
unstoppable,
It'd be done.
unstoppable.
They would literally. You know what's so funny? He said that. It reminds me of the story of Black Wall Street, and it's funny that you were actually. I don't know. Me and CT been going to the same barbershop for the longest. So he was the one that put me on the Black Wall Street. I had no idea what Black Wall Street was, none whatsoever. This is like I think in 2019 or 18, and he brought the story up, and I was like, bro, what is that? He was like, first I thinking some ignorant shit. I'm like, oh, you talking about games, the rapper Game, because he used to have a label called Black Wall Street. I was like, he's like, no, Black Wall Street, like the Tulsa, Oklahoma bombings, and it never got brought up. I never knew what that was, and I was like, damn, I love history, but
I love history too, but it's just like they don't put the real history.
they don't
in
put the
book.
real
You
shit
gotta-
in there.
You got to do your own research.
Yeah, so when he brought that up, I started looking into it, and then when I started looking into it, I'm like, oh, this is fucked up. Like this is some fucked up shit. And then what's so funny is, I think it was the same year. There's a TV show that came out on HBO called The Watchmen. The Watchmen is like based off of a comic book movie or a comic book itself, and it was a movie before it. And The Watchmen was not based off of, but the setting was in Tulsa, and they actually talked about the Oklahoma bombings in detail. And if you haven't watched The Watchmen on HBO, check it out. Get HBO Max or whatever. But it really gives you kind of like a rundown. And even you start to see more shows like Lovecraft. Lovecraft actually, there was a point where they went back in time and went to Tulsa, Oklahoma, and talked about Black Wall Street and how it was driving black businesses. But powers that be didn't like that shit because it was thriving, and black people thriving in America is just like a threat for whatever the fuck reason. So
It's hate.
it's hate, but this is the importance of why we need to come together and support each other as opposed to just I don't want to do this with him. I don't know. He ain't got no rap. I'm like, bro, that's ignorant, and it's for us to understand that you got to get over that mindset to say I don't want to support him because I ain't trying to. He ain't affecting you. My biggest issue with people is that if it's not messing with your bottom dollar, you should still support regardless.
I feel like you should support because that money goes back into your community. It's for your community anyway. Once you support. And have you ever seen that show with Killer Mike? I think he had a show on Netflix. I think it's
Yeah, I know what
called
you're talking
Trigger
about.
and Warner. When he tried to buy black a whole day, he couldn't drive a car because there's no black owned car company. He couldn't. He had to ride a bike. He couldn't use a cell phone. Well, eventually he found like somebody that a black owned company that was selling phones, but we don't even own stuff that we need day to day.
That's crazy. And then even the hair care products, like I pay attention to a lot of stuff too. They were talking about another show on HBO called I forgot, The Daily Show. Guy was talking about black hair products. He was saying that there weren't before black hair products, they were just regular hair products. They weren't really advertising to black people. And even even in the movies and the TV shows, the beautician or whatever the fuck, they go and they wouldn't even know how to treat black people's hair because it's different. It's not straight. It's natural and curly. So
Hair defines gravity.
yeah, you know what I'm saying, like stuff.
You go outside, you know what I'm saying? Your hair look like a tree or something like that. You know what I'm saying?
That's what I'm saying. So cases like that, but
White think we need to go outside and get sun.
Yeah.
Sun gazing.
And the key thing that you said about that stand out, you said natural. That's power. That we can withstand a lot of things. Once again, that's power. And a lot of time, people are naturally scared of God-given power. And that's why. And if they keep it unknown, they feel like it won't go. But like I said, it's something that you can't keep unknown. Even then, when we talking about all of this, somebody black was behind that. And you go back to the 48 laws of power in that book. Law 1 say, let somebody else do all the work. and take all the credit. Let me bite Kenyon Barris real quick in that episode of Blackish. When the grandfather told the kid, he said, "Let me tell you a story that won't get us killed," talking about how we built that country. And the words nothing it said, we raised their building and raised their children, and they made billions, and I'm catching feeling. Really, what it is we build. Railroads, White House, universities. Everything we built, but we get no credit for. Who to say that we didn't create the cell phone? If we looking deep to it, we probably the mastermind behind it.